Hey everyone, so before this video starts, I just want to thank all of you for the support that I got in that first video. It's already gotten more views and more comments than I honestly expected, and some of you actually managed to subscribe, so I just want to say thank you all. Hopefully I'm going to be able to upload quicker now, now that the holidays are over and everything. With that out of the way, let's get right into the video. So if the video title didn't make it obvious, today we're going to be talking about Kefla versus Fuse Zamasu, both from Dragon Ball Super. This isn't exactly a new topic by any means, but I recently saw a post on Instagram that demonstrated how divided people still are on this topic, nearly split exactly down the middle as to who they think wins. Hopefully by the end of this video, I can pretty thoroughly demonstrate the answer to this question, who actually wins, Kefla or Zamasu. As always with these videos, I want to specify which canon I'm actually going to be using for this, as there's a significant difference between the manga and anime continuities of Dragon Ball Super. For this video, I'm going to be looking at just the manga continuity, because if I did want to go into anime scaling, the video would probably be twice as long and take twice as long to edit, and at the moment, I don't really have the capacity to do something like that. But later down the line, if you guys want to see something like that, I will happily make that video in the future. As he appears in the story before, Kefla will be going over the scaling for Merge Zamasu first. I don't really see the point of going over how Goku Black or Zamasu scale, as to be honest, their scaling has literally no impact on where Merge Zamasu scales, unlike Kale and Cauliflower, and we'll get into them later. So to start establishing Zamasu's scaling, we see that he is pretty much objectively above like the baseline Super Saiyan Blue tier, as when he fights Goku, not only is he completely dodging all of his attacks and overpowering him, Trunks makes a very specific point that Zamasu seems to be suppressed here, or at least not trying really, because he's just toying with Goku. However, for those that are familiar with the manga, they will know that this is essentially the last arc where normal Super Saiyan Blue is used really at all, as everything after this point, everyone begins using Mastered Super Saiyan Blue, and this is the first arc where Goku uses it. The moment he does, he actually begins to match Zamasu, and Trunks, who had before said that Zamasu was toying with him, now notes that they are really fighting evenly with each other. However, due to circumstantial events that happen during this fight, and because of Zamasu's hacks abilities, Goku doesn't win here, but when it comes power to power, they're pretty much equal. At the start of this arc, Trunks makes a really specific point that Goku and Vegeta can no longer get Zenkais while they fight. This is really important because it essentially means that Goku from the Tournament of Power and Goku from the Goku Black arc are essentially the same character when it comes to scaling, aside from gaining new forms. Now, with all the direct power scaling out of the way, we can get into what makes Zamasu really unique as a fighter, and that is all his hacks abilities. The first one that we'll go over is his regeneration, something that is pretty commonplace for Dragon Ball villains at this point. While suppressed, he gets a hole blown through his chest by Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and he kind of just shrugs it off completely, and only takes a second to completely heal it. However, both Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegito make a very specific point that if they can attack him enough times and overpower his stamina, they can blow him up before he regenerates. Later on in the fight, we see that this assumption that they make was pretty much correct. Zamasu has a very Frieza-like ability to survive even while incredibly injured. This kind of like hardiness allows him to survive attacks that would usually kill people, and then take the time he needs to actually regenerate. I should make it clear though that this is not some sort of long-term ability, and like nearly instantaneous once he actually activates it. So after becoming what is essentially the manga's equivalent of Infinite Zamasu, his regeneration becomes technically even stronger. He gets blown into just like random chunks by Vegeta's Gamma Burst Flash, but instead of just regenerating from these pieces, each of those pieces seems to become a whole separate Zamasu, and then more and more of them keep appearing. Goku calls each of these Zamasus equally strong, but it's very vague, as if he's just saying they're as strong as each other, or if they're as strong as the original Zamasu, and that point is never specified upon. I think Zamasu has two more relevant hacks abilities for the sake of this fight, that being his telekinesis, which is strong enough to manipulate Super Saiyan Blue Mastered level characters, but not completely immobilize them, as Goku is still able to fight while fatigued and pinned by this telekinesis. The other ability that I think is relevant is his ability to make portals. Makes him more of a hard fighter to fight sometimes, because he can catch you off guard. However, even while fighting Goku, it wasn't too much of a problem for him. That might have felt brief, but that's pretty much everything that I have to go over for Zamasu, so now we can move straight on to Kefla and what her scaling is. Like I said earlier, unlike Zamasu, it's important to also cover her previous stages, as in Kale and Caulifla, before we actually cover what Kefla's scaling is. Because as I hope to demonstrate, you'll see it is far more relevant to this topic than you may think. So to elaborate on the previous point that I had made about the Black Arc Super Saiyan Blue level being essentially the same as the Tournament of Power Super Saiyan Blue level, not only do they not get Zenkais anymore, but between those two arcs, they don't train at all. Goku's working on the farm the whole time, and Vegeta just catches up to Goku's level and doesn't get any stronger than that. This is important because right before the Tournament of Power starts, Goku goes to recruit Frieza. The only way he's able to do this is having a fight with him, and when they come out of it, they both look incredibly injured. I find it very likely that they both went completely full power to fight each other in this fight. I don't see any reason not to. This means that Golden Frieza is essentially equal to Mastered Super Saiyan Blue Goku. This is relevant because this same Golden Frieza immediately gets trashed by Super Saiyan Kale, and it's heavily implied by both Gohan and Roshi that if Goku does not step in right now, Frieza is going to lose the fight against her. Kale then gets even stronger and overpowers Super Saiyan Blue Goku, to the point where Frieza needs to step in and save him from getting ringed out. She then powers up another time, becoming even stronger than she just was previously. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that at this point, Kale alone is significantly above the Mastered Super Saiyan Blue level of power. So the insane power creep of Kefla doesn't even stop there, because now we're just getting to how strong she is. So she's obviously more powerful than Kale, both stated by herself and the Universe 11 Pride Troopers that she's fighting. But she's also a smarter and better fighter, as she now has Caulifla's battle skills and experience. There are two big counter-arguments that come up against Kefla being this strong, and both of them have to do with Gohan. The first one is just the general idea of, oh, Gohan's not strong enough to obviously fight Super Saiyan Blue level, so he obviously can't defeat Kefla. However, Gohan simply gets stronger as he fights, and there's no contradiction with him adapting to becoming that strong during the Tournament of Power. The second point that gets made is that Krillin's kind of implies that Goku is still stronger than Gohan. However, Krillin can't sense God Ki, because not even Goku can sense God Ki, so he has no idea how actually strong Super Saiyan Blue Goku is. He's just sensing Kefla and Ultimate Gohan's power. Now, with all the power scaling out of the way, we can actually finally compare these two to each other. I'm just going to do this as a linear scale, kind of with tiers, and then go over how I think Zamasu's hacks would interact with Kefla's power, and who I eventually think would win this fight. So unfortunately for Zamasu fans, coming at the bottom is essentially the perfected Super Saiyan Blue tier. Here you have Zamasu, Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza from the Tournament of Power. They are all essentially relative, and I think they can each equally put up a good fight against each other at this level of power. You can argue that Zamasu will win simply because of his hacks while having the same amount of power as everyone else on this tier. So, obviously, by herself, next is Kale. She simply demonstrates power that is beyond perfected Super Saiyan Blue and powers up multiple times even further beyond that. Obviously, there's no quantification for this, but it's safe to say that she, at least when it comes to power, is significantly above everyone below her. Finally, at the very top, we have Kefla. And also you can put Ultimate Gohan here, but he isn't part of this battle, but he would technically go at the top of this scale. But for the sake of this battle, obviously I've demonstrated that Kefla is significantly stronger than Kale, and so she would go at the top of this scale. The real question becomes, do I think that Zamasu's hacks will be strong enough to kind of overpower the incredibly significant power difference between the two of them? And simply put, I do not. I think this fight is essentially going to go exactly the same way that Super Saiyan 2 Gohan versus Perfect Cell went. Because even though that Cell has like the regeneration and he's able to make Cell Juniors and he's more techniques and everything, he simply just gets overpowered and completely bodied by Gohan. And I think Kefla is going to do the exact same thing here. So the verdict is, Kefla wins. I did not really plan on having this video come out a month after my first video. It's not a really good sign, but I did put a lot of effort into this video, and just life stuff got in the way of me finishing it in a more timely manner. So I do just want to say, again, thank you for if anyone's still watching at this point. I really do appreciate it. Once again, hopefully I can get better at editing. I hope this was a step up in editing from my first video. That kind of just felt like a slideshow presentation. I really do hope that the editing continues to get better from here on out. So once again, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Thinking about reacting to a CBR article. That should be fun.